Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Amritpal Singh. Well, this is a show on which we tell you what happened around the country and around the globe in the day just gone by. What all made the headlines, what were the major happenings, and we'll discuss the major story of the day. And our big story of the day is the Prime Minister's address to the nation, which he undertook at about 5 p.m. this evening, where the Prime Minister made very important announcements. He said that from now on, from the June 21st, the vaccination process will be centralized. To streamline it further, he said the vaccination drive will get a big boost in the arm, because a big shot in the arm, a boost because of increasing number of vaccines that will come in. Also, the process will get streamlined. Everybody above 18 years of age will now be eligible for a free vaccine, with 75% of the vaccine procurement will be done by the Government of India and 25% by the private sectors. That means you can go to a private hospital and they will be only allowed to charge 150 rupees over and above the price of vaccine at which the government has already mandated for the different vaccines available in the market till now, and you can get yourself vaccinated in the private hospital at a charge and free of cost at government centers, the charge of which shall be borne by the Government of India. The states from now on will not have to pay anything to the manufacturers, because the central government will be procuring that on their behalf and giving it to the states free of cost. Also, the Prime Minister has announced that the extension of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, that means 80 crore Indians, especially the poor, will now not have to sleep hungry till November. In fact, it was coming to an end in June. The Prime Minister made this important announcement. We'll talk about that and much more about what happened around the world today. Let's begin with the headlines we are tracking at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the nation, terms the pandemic as the biggest calamity of last 100 years, centre to provide free vaccine to all Indian citizens above 18 years of age. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana extended till Deepavali, vaccines for children and nasal vaccine under trial. Dr. Harshvardhan Kaur chairs the 28th Group of Ministers meeting on COVID-19 situation in the country. Says with the addition of 18 new labs, the country now has 28 labs for genome sequencing. Says mucormycosis cases among COVID-19 patients being tracked closely. COVID cases continue to decline. States ease restrictions. Delhi allows opening up of markets and malls on odd-even basis. Metro running at 50% occupancy. Uttar Pradesh lifts curfew from all districts except 4. In Maharashtra and Haryana, restrictions to be further eased. Both private and public offices to function with 100% staff in Gujarat. COVID-19 cases continue to decline. India reports 1 lakh daily new cases in the last 24 hours, which is the lowest in 61 days. Daily recoveries continue to outnumber daily new cases for the 25th consecutive day. Recovery rate increases to 93.94%. 23 crore 27 lakh vaccine doses administered so far. Centre issues SOPs for vaccination of persons undertaking international travel for education, employment or as part of India's contingent for the Tokyo Olympic Games. COVID certificates to be linked to the passport of travellers. Israeli parliament to vote on approving new government by June 14th. If the Lapid-Bennett government fails to win a majority in parliament, Israel will likely head to its 5th election in less than 2 years. Netanyahu alleges Israeli election fraud, accuses rival of duplicity. And our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation this evening and made major announcements. He said that the government of India will provide free vaccine to all Indian citizens above 18 years of age. He also said that the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana extended till Deepavali. More in this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on Monday. He expressed condolences for people who lost their lives in the pandemic and termed it the biggest calamity of last 100 years, a pandemic not seen nor experienced.
दुनिया के अनेक देशों की तरह भारत भी इस लड़ाई के दौरान बहुत बड़ी पीड़ा से गुजरा है। हम में से कई लोगों ने अपने परिजनों को, अपने परिचितों को खोया है। ऐसे सभी परिवारों के साथ मेरी पूरी संवेदनाएं हैं। साथियों, बीते 100 वर्षों में आई ये सबसे बड़ी महामारी है, त्रासदी है। इस तरह की महामारी आधुनिक विश्व ने न देखी थी, न अनुभव की थी। इतनी बड़ी वैश्विक महामारी से हमारा देश कई मोर्चों पर एक साथ लड़ा है।
Prime Minister announced that it has been decided that 25% vaccination that was with states will now be undertaken by the Government of India and will be rolled out in 2 weeks. He also informed that the system of 25% vaccines being procured directly by the private hospitals will continue and only 150 rupees service charge will be levied by the private hospitals over the decided price of vaccines.
राज्यों के पास वैक्सीनेशन से जुड़ा जो 25% काम था, उसकी जिम्मेदारी भी भारत सरकार उठाएगी। ये व्यवस्था आने वाले 2 सप्ताह में लागू की जाएगी। इन 2 सप्ताह में केंद्र और राज्य सरकारें मिलकर नई गाइडलाइंस के अनुसार आवश्यक तैयारी कर लेंगी। संयोग है कि 2 सप्ताह बाद 21 जून को ही अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस भी है। 21 जून सोमवार से देश के हर राज्य में 18 वर्ष से ऊपर की उम्र के सभी नागरिकों के लिए भारत सरकार राज्यों को मुफ्त वैक्सीन मुहैया कराएगी।
In another major announcement, Prime Minister conveyed the decision of extension of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana till Deepavali. 80 crore people will continue to get decided amount of free food grain every month.
टीकाकरण के अलावा आज एक और बड़े फैसले में, उस फैसले से मैं आपको अवगत कराना चाहता हूं। पिछले वर्ष जब कोरोना के कारण लॉकडाउन लगाना पड़ा था, तो प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना के तहत 8 महीने तक 80 करोड़ से अधिक देशवासियों को मुफ्त राशन की व्यवस्था हमारे देश ने की थी। इस वर्ष भी दूसरी वेव के कारण मई और जून के लिए भी इस योजना का विस्तार किया गया था। आज सरकार ने फैसला लिया है कि प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना को अब दीपावली तक आगे बढ़ाया जाएगा। महामारी के इस समय में सरकार गरीब की हर जरूरत के साथ उसका साथी बनकर खड़ी है।
Recalling the unprecedented rise in demand for medical oxygen during the second wave, Prime Minister said that the challenge was met at the war footing.
कोविड अस्पताल बनाने से लेकर आईसीयू बेड्स की संख्या बढ़ानी हो, भारत में वेंटिलेटर बनाने से लेकर टेस्टिंग लैब्स का एक बहुत बड़ा नेटवर्क तैयार करना हो, कोविड से लड़ने के लिए बीते 1.25 साल में ही देश में एक नया हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार किया गया है। भारत के इतिहास में कभी भी इतनी मात्रा में मेडिकल ऑक्सीजन की जरूरत कभी भी महसूस नहीं की गई। इस जरूरत को पूरा करने के लिए युद्ध स्तर पर काम किया गया। सरकार के सभी तंत्र लगे, ऑक्सीजन रेल चलाई गई, एयरफोर्स के विमानों को लगाया गया, नौसेना को लगाया गया। बहुत ही कम समय में लिक्विड मेडिकल ऑक्सीजन के प्रोडक्शन में 10 गुना से ज्यादा बढ़ाया गया।
PM conveyed that 7 companies are producing different type of vaccines. Trials of 3 more vaccines are in advanced stage. He also talked of trials for 2 vaccines for children and nasal spray.
आने वाले दिनों में वैक्सीन की सप्लाई और भी ज्यादा बढ़ने वाली है। आज देश में 7 कंपनियां विभिन्न प्रकार की वैक्सीन का प्रोडक्शन कर रही है। 3 और वैक्सीन का ट्रायल भी एडवांस स्टेज पे चल रहा है। वैक्सीन की उपलब्धता बढ़ाने के लिए दूसरे देशों की कंपनियों से भी वैक्सीन खरीदने की प्रक्रिया को तेज किया गया है।
The Prime Minister warned against the people who are spreading rumors against vaccination. He said such people are playing with the lives of people and there's a need to stay vigilant against them. Prime Minister also said India warded off all apprehensions through clean intentions, clear policy and constant hard work. With Bureau Reports, DD India.
And let's now take a look at the main takeaways from the Prime Minister's address this evening, exactly what the Prime Minister said. And if we look at what the Prime Minister said, he said from June 21st, people above 18 years of age will be eligible for free vaccines. That means the centre will now directly procure the vaccines and give it to the states. And they will be provided free of cost, except for, of course, if you go to a private hospital, there are some charges that you will have to undertake, which we'll talk about. Prime Minister Modi announced a centralized vaccine drive. All vaccines will now be procured by the Government of India and given to the states for free. Also, the Prime Minister said that 25% of the vaccination work which was being done by the states will now be handled by the central government. The system will be implemented in 2 weeks starting the 21st of June. Also, the central government will procure 75% of the vaccines from the manufacturers and provide them free of cost to the states. The rest 25% will be procured by the private players who can put a certain charge and then give it. The Prime Minister also said that the next 25% of the vaccines procured by private hospitals will be directly taken from the manufacturers. And for that, the private hospitals can continue administering the vaccine on charge. Now they can only charge rupees 150 above the price of the vaccine, which has already been notified by the central government. This will 150 rupees will be the service charge. So those people who wish to go to a private hospital and get themselves vaccinated can pay and get themselves vaccinated at government centers. It will be provided free of cost. To increase vaccine availability, the process of procuring vaccines from abroad has also been sped up, as the Prime Minister clearly saying that the trial of 2 vaccines for children is underway. Research is being conducted for a nasal vaccine, and if the nasal vaccine gets approval, that will speed up the vaccination drive of the country. The vaccination supply to increase in the coming days. 7 companies, the Prime Minister said, in the country are already producing different kinds of vaccines. 3 vaccine trials are at an advanced stage. In the last 1 year, India launched 2 made-in-India vaccines. More than 23 crore vaccine doses are administered, have been administered till now. The rate of which of the vaccine at which vaccination is being done in India, that means the number of shots being given daily is one of the best in the world. It's one of the highest in the world, and in fact it's better than what many developed countries are doing. Though the number of people vaccinated, the total percentage of our population vaccinated is less, but that's because we've got a huge population to vaccinate. The new health infrastructure developed in the past 1.5 years are like COVID hospitals were established, more ventilator beds were put, and there was a network of testing labs which was prepared in the last 1.5 years. During the second wave, that's in April to May, the demand for medical oxygen, the Prime Minister said, increased at an unprecedented rate, for which work was done on a war footing to meet the demand for liquid medical oxygen. Liquid medical oxygen, or LMO, production in the country increased by 10%. Under the mission Indradhanush, vaccination coverage in the country increased from 60 to 90% since 2014. Now, this is the vaccination coverage not just for COVID but for other vaccines that the Prime Minister was talking about. And finally, the Prime Minister urged the citizens to follow COVID appropriate behavior and not pay attention to any kind of rumors about the vaccination. In fact, he urged people to go and get themselves vaccinated. Also, the other important announcement apart from the vaccination was the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, which has been extended till Diwali. That means now 80 crore poor will be provided free ration, which includes 5 kilograms of cereals, etc. Now, this is what were the main announcements made by the Prime Minister this evening. We'll talk about that, what it implies, what its implications would be in the coming days and months for the country, with a special panel of our guests, but that's after a very short break. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
STTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 17 at 93.5 degrees east. HDTV broadcast is available through the satellite GSAT 10 at 83 degrees east. For technical details, scan here. Switch to DD India now.
दवाई भी कड़ाई भी का मंत्र लिए वैक्सीनेशन की चल रही है लहर, गांव-गांव, शहर-शहर। लेकिन जब इतना किया है सब्र, तो थोड़े और समय रखें कोरोना पर कड़ी नजर। ना छोड़ें 2 गज दूरी, सैनिटाइजेशन और मास्क की सावधान डगर। रहें इस खतरे से सचेत हर प्रहर। कोरोना को हराना है तो मास्क जरूर लगाना है।
मास्क अप इंडिया।
दवाई भी कड़ाई भी, और इसीलिए जब भी अपने घर से बाहर निकलें अपने मुंह और नाक को ढक के रखें।
मास्क अप इंडिया।
Welcome back. So, what are the implications of the announcement that the Prime Minister made? That is our topic for discussion tonight. Our in focus tonight that we'll be discussing is new fillip to the vaccination drive. Will the announcements made by the Prime Minister give a new fillip to the vaccination drive? And to discuss that, I have with me Professor Randeep Guleria, Director, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, or AIIMS at New Delhi, and TV Mohandas Pai. He's the Chairman of the Manipal Global Education. Both gentlemen, many thanks for joining us on the show. First to you, Professor Guleria. What do you make of the announcement that the Prime Minister made, where he said now the vaccination drive will be centralized in terms of at least procurement, where from private manufacturers, the government of India will procure 75% of the vaccine, the rest 25 private players can procure themselves, and this will be given free of cost, the government part, to people above 18 years of age. Do you think with this announcement now that the Prime Minister made this evening, the hiccups that we saw when the states were doing procurement on their own, and center was doing separately, and there was friction, there were accusations, counter accusations, and people were saying, well, the drive hasn't got a boost. Will those be now taken out, and will the process smoothen now?
Yes, I think so. I think this is a great move, and it's going to have a lot of good things that will happen. Like you rightly said, there are two very strong takeaways. One, of course, that 75% of the vaccines which will be procured from the manufacturers, both from India and abroad, will be supplied free to all states for vaccination for those over the age of 18 years, which itself is a big boost, because this will really resolve a lot of issues as far as costing was concerned, of different vaccines being available at different cost and a differential happening. Secondly, it is also making sure that there is a good and equitable distribution across all states, and it is done in a centralized manner so that the vaccine drive can be done properly and it can be distributed to all states, because there was a lot of problem happening between not only center and state, but between states among themselves, that they were competing and trying to sort of outdo each other in trying to get manufacturers to supply them the vaccine. And this was leading to differential costs. This was leading to difference of supplies, states getting the vaccines based on their own demands. And there were a lot of objections by some states which felt that because they were smaller in size or not having that much of influence, they may get marginalized and they may not get the vaccine for their own people in that state. By now making it centralized, it will be equitable, it will make sure that everyone gets it, and it will be controlled so that the distribution can be done in a proper manner as it was being done in the past also. Last few weeks, what we've seen is by decentralizing it, it really did create more problems, and therefore I think this will really help to make the whole process of vaccination, especially now that we will start getting more and more vaccines from different manufacturers into the country, it will help to smoothen all of this.
Okay. TV Mohandas Pai, but the fact remains that only the procurement has been centralized. The administering of vaccines will happen at the state level. Your PHCs or your health centers are run by the state governments. Now, you know, there will again be differences in terms of the rate of which vaccination is happening. So how will that be resolved by the new guidelines?
Well, I think the new guidelines should first start with increasing transparency, in the sense that at least for 2 or 3 weeks, they must announce how much each state is going to get, so that the states can get their act together. And then they must also announce the next 3 months production lines on a constant moving basis, so that there is transparency. And the states should now get their act together to make sure that all districts, rural areas, people who cannot use technology, slum dwellers, etc., they all get an equal chance. Please remember, the vaccines have been concentrated in urban areas for various reasons. And now in the rural areas too, COVID has spread. The state governments have to get their act together, improve their logistics, make sure the PHEs work, and make sure they got people helping people in rural areas who may not have technology to go to the COVID website and get things done and activate their own people. So it has to be a very massive drive by the state governments. It will display the efficiency or inefficiency of the state government. Now, if you look at data, you find that states like Uttarakhand has done very well. States like Tamil Nadu have done very badly. West Bengal, UP are below the all India average. So there is varying work by varying states. So I think there has to be transparency across the country, so the states are put to account. But what is important today is the acrimony and the infighting between the state politicians and the center will stop. Citizens will have a sigh of relief. The supplies will come on and everybody will get a chance at the vaccine. So I think it's very good news, and hopefully things will be much better in future. Also, with supplies increasing, the anxiety of not getting a vaccine will reduce considerably.
Okay. Dr. Guleria, let me put this question to you as well. Given the state of our health infrastructure, especially in the hinterland, and the shortage of frontline workers who will go and administer these vaccines, remains where it remains. That's not going to improve overnight. It's a good step, as TB Mohandas Pai says. It will reduce the acrimony that we saw in the past few days between the states and the centre, and also the apprehensions of some states that we might get marginalized, etc. But finally, the administering of the doses has to happen at the state level. Now, unless that improves, how will the vaccination drive get a boost?
So there are two or three things. First, of course, as was mentioned, health is a state subject, and therefore that needs to be kept in mind. Secondly, each state has its own challenges, and therefore they will have to resolve that. For example, states in the northeast or the hilly states may have a different sort of challenge as compared to states in central India. And therefore, these states have to really develop a strategy where they look at their strengths and weaknesses and work out how they can be able to give the vaccine to everyone, especially those in rural India. And this can be done with or without the app or the CoWIN app, because data can be uploaded onto the app even by other healthcare workers. You could develop strategies where you reach out and give the vaccine rather than waiting for the individuals to come to the vaccine centers. So you could develop mobile mechanisms or doing vaccine drives in a community health center in rural India, or looking at mobile strategy where you could go and hold camps where vaccines could be given in that area, and the data subsequently could be uploaded, and take help of various volunteers who could help in that strategy. In remote areas, you will have to look at a different strategy than what you have, let's say, in a large city where there is a lot of awareness and it's easier to get vaccinated using technology. So I think that has to be kept in mind. But I'm sure as the policy develops, there will be a lot of support from the center to states to really be able to also look at how this can be done in an equitable manner. And as has already been said, the number of doses that would be available would be known well in advance. This was also touched upon. And thereby the states will be able to, will have time to plan how they will like to roll out this, the vaccination strategy for the next few weeks, knowing the number of doses they have, and whether they want to do it region by region or they want to cover the entire region in one go is something that states can take a decision on.
Okay. So, still in that sense, the administering will, remains decentralized, as Dr. Guleria says that it's health is a state subject. Mohandas Pai, the Prime Minister says that the vaccine supply will be increasing in the coming days.
Yeah.
He said 7 companies in the country are producing different vaccines. 3 vaccine trials are at advanced stage. There is research going on nasal spray vaccine. Some vaccines for 2 companies are conducting trials for vaccines for children. Procurement from abroad could be done as well. What is the government's thinking on that, and how do you think this vaccine supply will increase? Do we see that happening immediately or the later part of the year?
Well, I think it's going to happen in the later part of the year. You must remember that Niti Aayog has given a statement showing how it is going to happen, and it's back-ended. It's going to happen in August, September, October, November, December are going to be the heaviest months, right? They want to have 216 crore vaccines. But my personal view is this. If you're able to vaccinate first shot 60% of people in this country, that will be fantastic. There's a lot of vaccine hesitancy even today. I don't think we'll be able to vaccinate 80-100% of the people of this country by the end of the year, not because there are no vaccines, but people may not want it. They need to be forced. So I think there has to be some kind of education that has to go on. If we're able to vaccinate 40-50% in the next maybe 3 months, that will be a very big achievement, and that could make sure that the third wave does not come. Please remember, today 20% of 90 crore people who are eligible above the age of 18 have got the first shot. Maybe 4.5 crore people have got both the shots. And that's a small number, but I think July is going to be more than June, and August is going to be more than July. So it is going to be not a case of vaccine shortage in the next 2 months, but a case of the capacity of each state to vaccinate more and more people. That's why the states have to work on getting more volunteers, tech-savvy volunteers. India has about 600 medical colleges with maybe 3 lakh medical students. And maybe out of them, 2 lakhs can be enrolled to come there. Maybe you can go to all the nursing colleges, enroll those young people to come, train the ASHA workers. The states have to mobilize on a very, very massive way. I'll be interesting to see how UP does it, because UP has got 22 crore people. It's a big country by itself, right?
True.
So I think, the South will do well. The North we have to see. Bihar, UP, Rajasthan, they really have to mobilize. They're all big states. So it'll be a question of the state's capacity. I hope they'll all rise to the occasion. And possibly we must try new ways of doing it. Make sure that in the districts, whatever government servants are drafted in, the school teachers may be drafted in for a month, because now we're having the summer occasions. So I think governments have to think out of the box to make sure that vaccination happens all across.
Absolutely. That's one part of the challenge. The other part of the challenge, where the Prime Minister obliquely referred to Dr. Guleria towards the end of his address today, he said, please do not pay attention to the rumors being spread about the vaccination, the vaccines. I'll give you a personal example. My wife lives in Chandigarh. She wanted to get herself vaccinated, could not get a slot. She's in the 18 to 44 years category, could not get a slot for about a week. Then she drove about 100 kilometers into rural Haryana. It was easy for her to get vaccinated. In fact, they offered her, which vaccine do you want to go in for? Because there weren't enough people turning up to get vaccinated. How do the central and the state governments wish to fight this mindset? Because that is another challenge apart from the capacity of states to vaccinate.
So that's true. What we're looking at is not only the challenge of COVID-19, but the challenge of the infodemic. And this has really been part of what has happened because of social media and because of a lot of messages going along. We've been trying very hard to really counter a lot of them. Like you said, there have been messages going around in rural India which say that if you take the vaccine, you may become impotent, or that so-and-so said that if you take the vaccine, you will die in 2 years' time, and things like that, which have no scientific basis. And therefore, I think what we have to do is, as we roll out the vaccine, as the vaccine doses increase by July, August, we will have to work on a strategy of how do we reach out and tackle these issues which have created sort of wrong information or disinformation in the public, especially in rural India, and be able to convince them by using people who make a difference, who they will listen to, in terms of being able to understand the importance of vaccination, how it can save their lives, actually protect them and their family members from getting severe disease, and be useful as a part of getting over the pandemic, or as far as breaking the chain of transmission is concerned. So I think we will have to work on multiple strategies, both in terms of vaccination, having more doses, in terms of having a program which is state specific, in terms of being able to roll out the vaccine, both in urban and rural India, and also tackle the issues of misinformation, which is creating vaccine hesitancy in many parts of the country, especially rural India. So all of this will have to be done together if we want to achieve our targets.
Absolutely. That's the key, the crux. So you all do get yourselves vaccinated. This is what the medical fraternity, the governments have been telling, saying that we are together in this fight unless we cooperate with each other and get ourselves vaccinated and become safe for ourselves and for our family, for our neighborhood, for our states, for our country. We as a community would not be able to fight this pandemic alone. One part of society, be it the government, be it the doctors, be it the medical fraternity, etc., would not be able to overcome this challenge unless we as citizens start partaking our responsibility. Dr. Guleria, Mr. Pai, many thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you. And INB Minister Prakash Javadekar thanked the Prime Minister for extending the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana till November. He further said that 80 crore people will continue to get free food grain every month, which means that no one will sleep empty stomach across the country.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आज देश को आश्वस्त किया कि 18 साल के ऊपर के लोगों को भी सरकार मुफ्त वैक्सीन देगी राज्यों को, और राज्यों के द्वारा उनको दी जाएगी। कोई भूखा न सोए, इसके लिए 80 करोड़ गरीबों को पहले फेज में 8 महीने मुफ्त राशन दिया था। अब इस बार 6 महीने मुफ्त राशन दे रहे हैं, और 8 महीने में हर महीने के 5 किलो के हिसाब से 40 किलो अनाज मुफ्त मिला था, अब 5 किलो के दर से 6 महीने का 30 किलो अनाज लोगों को मुफ्त मिलेगा।
And from union ministers to chief ministers of states, all are welcoming the Prime Minister's decision on vaccination for all and extension of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana till November.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने जवाबदेही, अपने राजनीतिक कौशल्यता, उन्होंने एक संवेदनशील जिम्मेदार निर्णय आज उन्होंने किया है।
And
जिस मजबूती के साथ आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का यशस्वी नेतृत्व देश
all right, let's listen in to what other people have to say about that.
जिस मजबूती के साथ आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का यशस्वी नेतृत्व देश को प्राप्त हुआ, आज पूरा देश दूसरी लहर को भी पूरी तरह नियंत्रित करने के नज़दीक है।
जब हमें दशकों में भी वैक्सीन नहीं मिलती थी, हम लगातार चुनौतियों का सामना करते हुए उसका जवाब दे रहे हैं और न सिर्फ देश को बल्कि बाकी लोगों की भी मदद करने में हम समर्थ हो रहे हैं। ऐसी स्थिति में एक स्वावलंबी और आत्मनिर्भर भारत का संदेश है।
अलग अलग राज्यों में प्रतिस्पर्धा थी। कोई वैक्सीन बनाने वाली कंपनी पर दबाव बनाता था, हमें इतनी डोजेज दे दो। कोई ग्लोबल टेंडर कर रहा था, लेकिन हाथ कुछ नहीं लग रहा था। उस विखरते हुए वैक्सीनेशन के अभियान को देख के मेरे सहित अनेकों मुख्यमंत्रियों ने फिर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी से यह आग्रह किया कि उनके नेतृत्व में ही ये वैक्सीनेशन का काम संपन्न हो।
And the country is witnessing a steady decline in the number of new cases of COVID infection. 1 lakh daily new cases were registered in the last 24 hours. The number of cases is less than 2 lakh for 11 consecutive days. India's active caseload has dropped to 14 lakh 1,609 today. India's daily recoveries continue to outnumber daily new cases for the 25th consecutive day. The national recovery rate has increased to 93.94%.
The steady decline in fresh cases continues across India. The country has recorded less than 2 lakh daily new cases for 11 continuous days now. India has reported 1,636 new cases in the last 24 hours. This is the lowest in the last 61 days. In terms of active caseload, once again the figure remained below 15 lakhs. India's active caseload dropped to 14 lakh 1,609. A net decline of 76,190 has been witnessed in the last 24 hours, and active cases are now only 4.85% of the country's total positive cases. Daily recoveries continue to outnumber daily new cases for 25th consecutive day. 1,74,399 recoveries were registered in the last 24 hours. Recovery rate increased to 93.94%, maintaining the steady incline in national recovery rate. A total of 15,87,589 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours in the country, and cumulatively, India has conducted over 36.6 crore tests so far. Daily positivity rate at 6.34% continues trend of less than 10% positivity rate for 14 consecutive days.
There is a continuously the number of daily cases is subsiding, that's declining also, and it remains lesser than the number of daily recoveries. From 12th May, daily new cases are on the decline continuously, and since 14th May, our recovered cases are more than the new cases.
Dr. Harshvardhan, Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, chaired the 28th meeting of the high-level group of ministers on COVID-19. He said that continuously daily cases are declining and are outnumbered by recoveries. 83% of active cases are across 10 states.
83% of our active cases are in 10 states, and the remaining 17% are in 26 states and UTs. 7 states, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand, they have less than 1,000 cases. 5 states, Jammu, Kashmir, Punjab, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, UP, they have less than 2,000 cases. And even the most affected states like Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, there also we can see that there is a decline in the number of cases at a significant rate.
Union Health Minister warned against the danger of more RNA mutations in the virus. INSACOG sequencing labs are looking at the mutants which have significant potential of severely affecting the disease transmission. As of now, 10 national labs have sequenced around 30,000 samples. 18 more labs have been added to boost the capacity of sequencing. Talking of mucormycosis, so far 28,252 cases have been reported from 28 states. Out of these, 86% have a history of COVID-19 infection and 62.3% have a history of diabetes. On the vaccination front, 23.27 crore vaccine doses have been administered under the nationwide vaccination drive. After AIIMS Patna, trials of Covaxin in children began at AIIMS New Delhi.
अभी जो है ये क्लिनिकल ट्रायल शुरू हुआ है क्योंकि बच्चों के लिए हमारे पास सेफ्टी का कोई डेटा नहीं था, इम्यूनोजेनिसिटी का डेटा नहीं था, साइड इफेक्ट्स क्या हो रहे हैं इसका कोई डेटा नहीं था। तो ये जो ट्रायल्स हो रहे हैं वो बच्चों में इसी को देखने के लिए वैक्सीन सेफ है कि नहीं, वैक्सीन इफेक्टिव है कि नहीं, ये देखने के लिए ये ट्रायल्स हो रहे हैं। अभी जो है 12 से 18 साल के बच्चे इसमें सम्मिलित हो रहे हैं। ट्रायल जो है पूरे 6 to 9 मंथ का है ट्रायल कंप्लीट डेटा जनरेट करने में, क्योंकि सिर्फ सेफ्टी ही नहीं देखना होता है, इम्यूनोजेनिसिटी भी देखनी होती है। 2 डोज का शेड्यूल है, 2 डोज लगने के बाद जो है जो इम्यूनोजेनिसिटी आएगी उस पर फिर कोई निर्णय लिया जा सकता है।
Children participating in the trials were visibly enthused.
We have no way out of COVID. एक ही रास्ता है, वो तो है वैक्सीन लगवाना। Eventually, end of the day, अभी नहीं तो अगले 2 साल में all of India has to get vaccinated if we want to move ahead in our lives. That's the only way out we have. We can't keep living at home. We have to get back out.
I would be probably the first one to get a vaccine in my age group. So it's a good thing and I am proud कि मैं trials में जा रही हूँ, मुझे जल्दी से वैक्सीन लग जाएगी. I will be vaccinated and I will be safe.
Meanwhile, Union Ministry of Health has written to the states and union territories to include the unique disability identification card as a photo ID while registering on CoWIN 2.0. Union Health Ministry has stated that the UDID card issued to persons with disability by Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has also the necessary features such as the name, year of birth, gender and photograph of the person and meets the criteria for use of identification in COVID-19 vaccination. So, to facilitate access to vaccination for Divyangshans, it has been decided to include the UDID in the list of prescribed photo ID document for COVID-19 vaccination. The necessary provisions for same are being made and would be available in CoWIN shortly. Bureau Report, DD India.
And with the declining number of COVID cases, most states and union territories have started the unlock process. Restrictions are being lifted, relaxations are being given for gradual opening up of marketplaces and plying of public transport, etc. Take a look at this report.
After declining cases of COVID-19, now the states and union territories are allowing markets to reopen with appropriate COVID behavior. The governments in states and union territories are keeping a close eye on markets to ensure that COVID protocols are not violated. Meanwhile, transport services have also got the green signal to start operations with certain restrictions. Delhi Metro has resumed its services at a seating capacity of 50%.
Shops and stores have been given permission to operate from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. on odd and even basis in New Delhi. Even apparel stores, clothing stores are open today. So we'll just have a quick word with Gaurav, who is the store manager here at one of the stores. Gaurav, what kind of instructions have been given and how are you complying to the guidelines and instructions given?
Authorities has given us information that only the odd days, the odd date numbers and the odd shop numbers are open. In the even dates, even shop numbers will be open. So we are opening today, tomorrow it's closed.
जैसे हम लोग 10 आदमी हैं तो उसमें से 3-4 आदमी आया है, आज ही खुला है ऑफिस। आज भी पहले सुबह का टाइम सैनिटाइजर हुआ तब जाकर ऑफिस खुला।
जब मार्केट खुलेगा तो लोग परचेज करेंगे और ऑब्वियसली रिटेल होलसेल सब कुछ प्रॉपर चेन में आ जाएगा। अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा खुले कि जिससे कि लोग की रश ज़्यादा ना हो।
Delhi metro services have also resumed from today. I am at the Rajiv Chowk metro station and this is the entry point here which has been designated. There is one entry point and 2 exit points that have been designated at the Rajiv Chowk metro station. Though the number of commuters is quite sparse, but all guidelines and all precautions have been put in place.
जिसके पास मास्क नहीं है उसको मास्क देने के लिए रखे हुए हैं। ये पट्टी टूट जाती है, खराब हो जाता है तो उसको मास्क दे देंगे नया। तो लाउड हेलर है समझाने के लिए, जब भीड़ होती है तो भीड़ को बताने के लिए लाउड हेलर रखा हुआ है। और कोई पानी पीना चाहे ठंडा पानी भी रखा है।
तो क्या अभी भी आज सुबह से कैसा, आज से शुरू हुआ है तो आज सुबह से कैसी भीड़ है?
तो कम है भीड़, कम लोग जा रहे हैं, अभी तो खाली है। शाम के टाइम यहाँ से जाने वालों की ज़्यादा होती है।
All the precautions have been put in place for the commuters, and though the number of commuters today has been a bit sparse than it is generally there, but still all the guidelines and the step 1 of unlock in Delhi has begun. So the onus is now on the people that how much precautions they take when they venture out of their homes.
In Delhi, markets opened from 10 a.m. on odd-even basis. Migrant workers have started returning to Delhi as factories and construction sites resume operations. Delhi Police Commissioner has appealed to people to maintain due precautions against COVID-19.
अनलॉक जरूर शुरू हो गया है, लेकिन हर एक को सावधानी रखने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि बीमारी कम हुई है, बीमारी ख़त्म नहीं हुई है। तो जो भी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी हो रही है वो हो, लेकिन बड़े सावधानी के साथ। बाज़ार में या जहाँ भी भीड़ होती है तो वहाँ पहले ही हमने ये प्रैक्टिस किया है कि किस प्रकार से फिज़िकल डिस्टेंस बनाए के रखें ताकि लोग भीड़ ना हो जाए। हमने जो शॉपकीपर्स है उन पे भी जिम्मेवारी डाली है, जो मार्केट वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन है उन पे भी जिम्मेवारी डाली है कि वे भी सोशल डिस्टेंस का ध्यान रखें।
Uttar Pradesh government has lifted curfew from all districts of the state barring Lucknow, Meerut and Gorakhpur. At many places in the state, markets opened and transport services resumed operations. Metro and Noida resumed its services at 50% seating capacity. After several days, people came out of their homes and purchased essential and other goods. The Maharashtra government's 5-level plan to unlock the state based on weekly positivity rate and occupancy of oxygen beds in districts came into effect from Monday.
We are here in Mumbai and we also know for the fact that many of the shops have started functioning. We can see many vehicles have started plying on the roads earlier which were not plying. Also shops on both sides are now started functioning. Since it's a Monday, many shops have kept shut, but yes, a lot of shops have started functioning with the fact that Maharashtra is unlocking in phases. And yes, we have to keep it in mind that we have to follow the COVID appropriate behavior so that the third wave could not begin soon.
After the 5-level unlock plan came into effect in Maharashtra, people came out of their houses and moved on roads. State government has appealed to the people to follow COVID guidelines.
कई जिलों में लेवल 3 के कंडीशन डाले गए हैं, लेकिन इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि कोविड पूरी तरह से समाप्त हो गया है। लोगों की जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि लोग जो नियम बनाए गए हैं उसका पालन करें और कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट जो बिहेवियर है उसका पूरी तरह से ख्याल रखें। मास्क पहनने की बात हो, दूरी बनाए रखने की बात हो, सैनिटाइज करने की बात हो, हमें लगता है कि इन चीज़ों का ख्याल रखा जाएगा।
Corona cases have been declining in Gujarat since last 2 weeks. As a result, state government has relaxed restrictions. Government and private offices in the state have started functioning with 100% capacity. City bus service has also resumed in Ahmedabad. In the south, unlock process has started slowly in Tamil Nadu capital Chennai. Corona cases have continuously been declining in the state. In Rameshwaram, markets opened on Monday after relaxation in the curfew. Bureau Report, DD India.
The centre has issued SOPs for vaccination of persons undertaking international travel for educational purposes. employment opportunities or are a part of India's contingent for the Tokyo Olympics 2021. In a constant endeavor to streamline the vaccination process, the Union Health Ministry has written to states and UTs to facilitate vaccination of such persons who are undertaking international travel. The ministry has issued these SOPs in this regard, which have been conveyed to the states and UTs. Further, the states and UTs have been advised to immediately implement the SOPs. For persons traveling overseas, vaccination can also be availed through passport, which is one of the permissible ID documents as per the current guidelines. The passport number will be printed on the certificate. However, the details of the photo ID card used for vaccination will be printed in the vaccination certificate for beneficiaries whose passport was not used at the time of administration of the first dose. Further, the competent authority may issue another certificate linking the vaccination certificate with passport number of the beneficiary. This facility shall be available to those who need to undertake international travel for these specified purposes in the period up to 31st August 2021. And in a recent announcement, Prime Minister has approved an ex gratia for those who lost their lives due to lightning in various parts of West Bengal. The tweet said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has approved an ex gratia of rupees 2 lakh each from the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund for the next of kin of those who have lost their lives due to lightning in various parts of West Bengal. 50,000 rupees would be given to the injured. Followed by this, the Prime Minister also announced an ex gratia for the next of kin of those who lost their lives in Pune's fire incident. The Prime Minister's tweet said that the Prime Minister has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the PM-NRF for the next of kin of those who have lost their lives due to a fire at the industrial unit in Pune in Maharashtra. 50,000 for those will be provided to those injured in the accident. In its latest circular released on Monday, the Central Board of Secondary Education or CBSE has directed all affiliated schools to upload the marks of students after completing internal and practical assessments of 12th class students by June 28th. The letter said that some schools have not been able to complete the school-based assessments in various subjects due to the pandemic. Thus, the schools with pending practical and internal assessments have been permitted to conduct the same now in online mode only and upload the marks by 28th of July. Directing all affiliated schools to the CBSE has listed down following pointers on conducting school-based assessments of 12th class students. The letter states that the list of subjects and the breakup of marks for theory and practical projects, internal assessment along with the duration of exams and appointment of examiners can be fetched from the website. In subjects where external examiner has not been appointed, the concerned school teacher of the subject will conduct internal assessment based on its instructions given the curriculum in the online mode. External examiners as appointed by the CBSE will decide the date of examination for conducting practical exams or project evaluation. Viva voice will be taken through the online mode. The internal examiners will share the date of examinations well in advance. On the day of examination, the internal examiners will also share the link of online meeting between examiners and students. Internal examiners will also take on screen photograph of each student during Viva voice and for school records as well. This photograph will have the picture of internal and external examiners and the students. Marks will be uploaded on the link provided by the board immediately after completing the examination. No correction in the marks will be allowed after uploading. All affiliated schools have also been directed to strictly follow COVID-19 protocols while conducting school-based assessments. Well, Foreign Minister of Maldives Abdullah Shahid has been elected as the President of the 76th United Nations General Assembly with an overwhelming majority. This is a post held on an annual basis, rotated amongst various regional groupings. The 76th session, that's for 2021-2022, is the turn of the Asia Pacific Group. This is the first time Maldives will be occupying the office of the President of the General Assembly. Maldives had announced Foreign Minister Shahid's candidature in December 2018. At that time, no other candidate was in the fray. India announced its support for Shahid during the visit of Foreign Secretary to Maldives in November 2020. Even at that time, he was the only candidate in the fray. And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has conveyed his best wishes to Foreign Minister of Maldives Abdullah Shahid on his election as the President of the 76th UN General Assembly. The minister tweeted, and I quote, "Heartiest felicitations to the Foreign Minister of Maldives Abdullah Shahid on his election as President for the 76th UN General Assembly. This is a testimony as much to his own stature as to the standing of Maldives. We look forward to working with him to strengthen multilateralism and its much needed reforms." And let's now take a look at some other stories making headlines from around the world.
Spain on Monday opened doors to fully vaccinated travelers, hoping its travel industry would rebound after plunging by 80% last year due to COVID-19 restrictions. One of the most traveled countries in the world, Spain has allowed vaccinated travelers from around the world to travel to the country. Spain on May 24 had permitted tourists from 10 non-EU countries deemed low risk to enter without a negative PCR test. Venice has now become a white zone, where people only need to wear masks and follow social distancing rules. The curfew and other restrictions were eased, allowing people to stay indoors as long as they want. The curfew timings for bars and restaurants to close by 11 p.m. have also been eased. The rest of the country continues to remain a yellow zone, in which curfew will be extended by an hour until midnight before being abolished across the country by mid-June. Germany has extended its free vaccination drive to the entire adult population as announced last month. The country had earlier restricted coronavirus vaccines to its more vulnerable population. However, vaccination supplies in the country remain scarce, especially in Cologne, where the regional health ministry has not approved any further first vaccination appointments. Slovakia has become the second European Union country to start an inoculation process with the Russian-made Sputnik V after giving a go-ahead to the vaccine last month. The development came after months of rows over the vaccine, which is yet to be approved by the European regulators. The country has so far procured 2 lakh doses of the vaccine and will buy another 2 million in the coming days. Reeling under the impact of COVID-19, Thailand on Monday kicked off its mass vaccination drive with an aim to administer 6 million doses of AstraZeneca and Sinovac vaccines this month. The government aims to fully vaccinate 70% of its 66 million population by the end of this year. The United States' Vice President Kamala Harris arrived in Guatemala on her first overseas trip after assuming office in January. Harris was welcomed by Guatemalan officials, including Foreign Minister Pedro Brolo. Her trip also includes a one-day trip to Mexico.
And that's it in Newsnight for tonight. But remember to wear the mask and be safe and follow COVID-appropriate behavior, especially when you are stepping out of your homes. Like right now, I'm stepping out of the studio. I'm going to wear this mask. And remember, this along with vaccination and following COVID-appropriate behavior, such as social distancing, washing our hands, and using sanitizers, etc., is our only weapon to defeat the pandemic. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.